Okay, just another strange happening. Just kind of spelling a couple of things out here. Because the other day, my mom had started watching some of these videos, even the strange happening videos, things like that. And she asked me, she goes, well, I didn't ask. She goes, I think I know what came to you. And during that first depression, you felt an entity or a presence come into you. I think it was a relative. I'm like, no, I know what it was. And I just didn't tell her at the time. But so I'll spell it out here. So I'll go ahead and do it. I guess maybe I'm too obtuse. Maybe I'm trying to keep these videos too short and people aren't hearing me. So I'll spell a couple of things out. If you watch Strange Happening number 1, um, I remembered myself being outside of this place, this existence, and making modifications to a person. The person I made modifications to was me. So the entity that came into me was myself, believe it or not. It's kind of weird. And in another video out there, God, I forgot which one it was. It wasn't too long ago. I sounded a little condescending on it and said, it deals with being in multiple planes of existence kind of thing. And that's what this is, being in two places at once. Because this, the way I see it, the way I feel it, and I've actually seen this a few times, is being outside of this time bubble. And that's all this is. It's a bubble of time with all of reality in it. It's just a bubble of time. These other things that happen out there outside of this. So when people talk about eternity, all that is another life, but outside of this bubble of time. That's all it is. You can see beginning, end, and you're outside of it. It's eternity. From our standpoint, it's eternity. From theirs, it's not. But from our standpoint, it's eternity. From theirs, it's just like everyday living, just like us. It's a thing. But anyway, for Strange Happening number 1, I came into myself. So a lot of times, not a lot of times, but several times when I'm talking to, besides existence, which is alive, trying to spell that out, alive, all reality here is alive. It's linked to every person here is alive. Existence itself is alive. It's learning, it's knowing, it's changing. It's alive. But besides that, God, where was I even going with this? When I'm talking to the existence, I'm also talking to something else. I'm talking to myself in some cases. Myself that's outside of this bubble of time, talking to myself. So it's like being in two places at once. And so that's kind of what I'm doing, is talking to myself sometimes. This other self that's outside this bubble of time making changes. And that's odd and weird and might create a little life. Yeah, so I'm spilling that out. So Mom, you see this video, and the entity that came into me was myself. I made this change to myself. And the change I made in Strange Happening number 1, I said I made a big change. The big change I made was remembering, being able to remember. Something that simple, and it's massive. It's really, really a big deal. By doing this, I'm always learning. I'm still learning right now. I am still learning. I'm trying to be wise about it and not cause damage. When I get really angry, I try to count to 10 and calm myself down and things like that before taking any weird action, things like that, against people or anything. You just got to calm down and do that. And everybody should do that. Anyway, so the being that came into myself was myself. So there are a lot of things that are linked here. The second thing I'll spell out a little more clearly, and it relates back to Strange Happening number 1. Strange Happening number 1, I mentioned about the 2 guards at the door before I go in. The 2 guards. On another video, I think Researching Others Like Me, Strange Happening 16, I think it was, I mentioned that there were words I was getting wrong in the Masonic Lodge. There's a lot of recital. And this is the very beginning bits of it. The things I was pronouncing correctly, and the national historian told me I was pronouncing them correctly, and they've changed the way these words sound. The words that had changed were names, 2 names particularly. And they call them pillars. It's basically these guards at that door. Same thing. It's the 2 guards' names at that door, and I knew their names. I remember walking through that door, the 2 guards looking at me and smiling, and I knew how to pronounce their names correctly. And that's what was going on with Masonic Lodge. And so I told them that's the way you pronounce the names. Continuing along that line, still spelling some things out. Names are a big deal. Names are a really big deal. Names mean something. Whenever a person gets a name, it's not just somebody arbitrarily naming you something after a parent or grandparent or something like that. But these kind of names, it's basically who you are. Everything you are is in your name. So the names are a very big deal because it's who you are, what you are. Same thing with the two guards at the door with their names means something. My name that I got means something. And I hope you picked it up. I put it in the little, what do you call it, discussion box down there, chat description box under the title when I said I got a name, found out who I am. I got a name. I put in there. It's not just me as two words with a T in it. It's squished together, take out the T, just me. But it's the same thing as just me. It's the way I say it. It's just me. I did that today walking to my parents' house. It's just me. Just me. The deal with just me is it's more than that. It's more than just me, this person here. So if I'm looking at someone, this is going to go really far out there now. So hang on. When people want to know my name, know what it is, and they ask me, what's your name? I can say, I am, and point to them, and they'll have to say just me. Now, do you get that? What I'm pointing is, I'm also that person, and that person, and that person. I am every person. And there's also a part reason for that. Way back in the dark side, I forget what's in number 24, I forget which one it was, way back then. One of those videos around there, I mentioned I had gone over to the dark side because I had done something extremely positive 2 days before. Massively positive. So it swung to this dark side to try to keep in balance. And it had to be a big swing to the dark side. And what I had done 2 days before, I haven't mentioned it yet, but what I had done is gone kind of outside of time, and for every person that's ever is and will exist, every person, put a little piece of me in there, a little piece of hope. And that's all it was, just a tiny little piece of hope. I needed an anchor. I've been trying to learn to forgive and forgive in a big way. Not just forgive one person or two people, but forgive everyone for everything. That's a very difficult thing to do. I've almost got it a few times in these past couple of years, been really, really close, practically there, and then it slips. And so I needed an anchor, something to hang on to for every single person. So I put a little piece of hope. And this is my crazy little world. I get it, my crazy little world. But what I did is throughout time, and it was powerful. I mean, really powerful, from emotions and thought and all that, and put a little piece of me, my own hopes, into every single person that ever has existed, is existing, and will exist. And so I could take everyone with me, kind of thing. I know it's kind of weird, but I'm not going to leave anyone. And so I needed to learn how to forgive and hang on to it. And so that's what I did. And so when that name came to me, and I'd kind of not passed the test, if you want to call it, but they got to me, and I was able to hear and heard the name just me, and that is who I am. It's just me. And even when, people ask, who am I? I can say I am, and point to them, and they'll say just me. And that's right. I am just me, the one you're looking at here on this video, but I am also, and you say just me, and that's who I am. I'm also you. I'm also every person out there. It's kind of weird, but that's what I did, and that's the way it is. And that's how I got the name. And it's funny that the whole video series of all these that I started, 8 months and something ago, was just me, because that's what it came down to be, my name, and it was meant to be all along. It was dramatic, for me, a moment anyway, just to realize that. And like I said, I'm still learning. And when I talk about still learning, what I mean is, I don't know, it's like a source of other information coming in all the time. Is these other ideas and thoughts, and it flows and it moves and it just comes in. I don't know why I have these thoughts or anything. They're not evil and negative thoughts. It's just concepts of reality and existence and what's after. And if you remember back again to Strange Happening number 1, It was like a classroom setting. Again, I'm a little kid, 2 and 3 years old, trying to not forget all this, trying to remember as hard as I can. And the way I put it in Strange Happening number 1, that's the only way I can remember it as a little 2 and 3-year-old kid. But it really goes beyond that. But basically, for a kid, that's what it was like. Like, this reality is a learning experience. It is a learning experience. It's trying to become self-aware that us, people, trying to become self-aware. It's almost like everyone sitting around me was not self-aware yet. They were reacting through intuition, and I was becoming self-aware and almost about to move to the next stage or something like that. I don't know, something like that, I guess, maybe. Anyway, becoming self-aware. And so that's really what I truly believe that everyone on this planet needs to do, is become more self-aware of their own actions, how their actions interact with everything around them. Of course, that's just normal everyday stuff, honestly. Actions have consequences, right? Just take it to the next level. So this life, for me, when I look around, and I don't cry at funerals because I know that's not the end of it, not by a long shot. This is just a little bubble of time. And there's a whole existence out there beyond this. And I've been there and I remember it. And yeah, if you start looking into all of this, and I'm saying it goes right along with religion. And I know you've heard me say before, I'm not big into religion at all. But it's funny how this parallels it or follows right along that path on some of these teachings and sayings. It's very interesting.